Hi, it's Tony Marino, host of the super popular Newsmax Daily podcast, a rundown of the day's top headlines and top highlights of Newsmax shows and interviews you may have missed, plus some sports, stock markets, and even some yucks, all packed into about 20 minutes. Search for the Newsmax Daily with me, Tony Marino, on your favorite podcast platform, and check out our entire lineup of great podcasts, including Greg Kelly, Rob Carson, and Jerry Callahan at newsmax.com/listen.
Now,
you are about to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
This is the Rob Carson Show. It's Monday, kids. Welcome to it. Come on in. Have a sit a spell, will ya? And join me because we got a lot of stuff to get to. I mean, a lot of stuff. And listen, I've been doing show prep all damn weekend. I did have a little bit of fun this weekend. Had a dinner party. I had a dinner party with people over at the appartement on Saturday night. And I cooked all day, man. I cooked all day like it was going out of style. And I had a good time. Watched a lot of football this weekend. Oh, my goodness. Cream is rising to the top in the NFL. And then Sunday morning, are you ready for this? If you're streaming, you might want to watch right now because I'm going to show you me being mounted by a goat. Go ahead. Gather around your computer right there. Gather around your computer, your smart device, and see Rob Carson mounted by a goat this weekend. Here it is. Ready? Here it is right here. And there it is right there. See, I was invited to this thing where apparently this place that does goat yoga. I know, they do goat yoga. Whatever. I don't do goat yoga. I don't do yoga. All right, never will do yoga. But there was this little gathering, and it was a goat rescue place, and I was invited by some people to go over and see the goats and everything. And it's a big deal for city folk, because city folk never, are around animals or anything, so they're not used to, seeing pigs and stuff, and they'll pay people to pet a goat. It's ridiculous. It's insane. But, I said, oh, what the hell? We'll do this. And what they do is the goat gets up on your back, and this goat got up on my back, and not a pleasant experience. It is not a pleasant experience to have a goat get on your back. They have hooves and everything. But I did, we raised some money for goat rescue and everything. So what... See, I grew up on a farm, and I have shoveled every kind of animal feces known to mankind. I have done more things than you could ever imagine. In the fall, we used to dress 400 chickens. Somebody asked me at the goat rescue thing, they said, what do you mean dress a chicken? I said, well, what you do is you cut its head off, then you dip it in a big vat of boiling water, then you take the feathers off, and then you gut it. And then you put it in the freezer, and they went, oh, my God. And I said, yeah, that was my life. That's why I couldn't eat chicken until I was 30. But anyway, but I do think animal husbandry, and I'm not talking about the kind of, animal husbandry that happens in Afghanistan. That's completely different. But being able to be raised around animals is a really valuable thing. And I had, I guess, not realized how ignorant some people are of animals and being around animals. And this is why city people would pay $40 to pet a goat. So I got mounted by a goat this weekend. or in some countries in the Middle East, it was kind of a speed dating, is what it was, a speed dating. So it was kind of fun. The throat's a little scratchy from yelling at football last night. I was watching football last night. My son was watching with me. I'm not together in the same room, but we were yelling at the TV last night, and some great football going on this weekend. There was a lot of insanity going on in Minneapolis. I told you last week that this Renee Good shooting of Renee Good would be a fart at a Cat 5 hurricane. It's going to be that way because last week the left started by protesting Maduro. Maduro and Donald Trump shouldn't have brought Maduro out of the country, and the left, just because they're trying to be counter to everything, no matter what Donald Trump does, it's negative, even when it's so blatantly obvious that it's the right thing to do by getting rid of Maduro. And Joe Biden had a $25 million bounty on his head, and Joe Biden couldn't do anything because he was 40% of the time on vacation and putting a lid on things at 10 a.m. and making poopies in his pants. And Donald Trump actually did something about it. Because Donald Trump did something about it, the Democrats hate it, because every time Donald Trump has a success, they see their doom. They see that they are intellectually and morally bankrupt. They are getting their rear ends kicked into their shoulders. I mean, kicked up between their shoulders. That's how badly the Democrat Party is getting beaten by Donald Trump. And they immediately moved on to this insane woman, this Renee Good. If you could see the before and after photos of her, she's a typical liberal Karen. They took advantage of her mental illness and fed her social contagion, and she went for it hook, line, and sinker, and started going to these protests to get in the way of ICE and to honk her horn and do all of this. And this is what happens when you play with the big dogs. When you think, because I use the analogy of the yippy Chihuahua, and the yippy Chihuahua's on the other side of the fence line, barking at the pit bull, just barking at the pit bull. But if you remove the fence, the Chihuahua rolls over on its back. Well, she didn't know well enough to roll over on her back. She decided to challenge a police officer. Her wife, girlfriend, whatever, said, "Drive, baby, drive." And, of course, hit the police officer, the ICE officer, and the ICE officer shot her through the windshield. And the left, even in the face of overwhelming evidence that she is part of a massive anti-ICE protest that frequently leads into violence, hence 1,300% increase in violence on ICE agents happening around the country, 100 incidents where vehicles have been used as weapons against ICE agents, and this woman did the same thing, and she got shot. But the Democrat Party, in the face of any evidence, every ounce of evidence, there are people in Minnesota who still think that there's no fraud going on, that Donald Trump is going after, just going after Somalians because they're black. And so there's really nothing you can do to argue with these people. There's no common sense to them. You just have to defeat them. That's all there is to it. They are just nuts. I dealt with it all weekend long. I would send video to people who were saying, "Oh yeah, the ICE agent murdered Renee Good." And I said, "No, if you just watch this." And I'd say, "Look, she turns left toward the officer." "No, she didn't. She turned right." "Well, no, see, she turned left, you see, because the wheels are turning left. You see." "Well, she could have shot the tires out." Really? Have you seen how long somebody can drive on a flat tire? You butthead. So there's nothing you can do with the left. The only thing you can do is defeat them. And I got to tell you, I loved watching all of the beatdown porn this weekend. I loved watching the ICE agents pepper spray and shoot pepper balls at these idiots. And despite the fact that Jacob Fry, who is the Justin Trudeau of Minneapolis, saying this last week.
I have a message for ICE. To ICE, get the out of Minneapolis.
Yeah, and you know what Kristi Noem said to that? She's going to send a couple hundred more ICE agents into Minneapolis, because they're not messing around. These are adults. I said years ago, when 2020 happened and the Democrat Party let the children have a temper tantrum and it caused 30 deaths and billions of dollars worth of damage, I said sooner or later the children are going to have to get a spanking. And the more they raise the temperature, the more that the Trump administration is going to send more people in. And the more that they fight and the more that they threaten civil war, and they are threatening civil war, by the way. There are politicians threatening civil war. It would be the shortest civil war ever because the military is solidly behind Donald Trump. It would be over in a day. But they bloviate. They think that they're the Chihuahua on the other side of the fence. And I'm going to tell you, when that fence gets moved, you're going to get your asses kicked. That's just the way it is. Here is just a little montage of the idiocy in Minnesota. And by the way, these are law enforcement officials going after criminal aliens. The only reason that the politicians in Minnesota and in Democrat states are trying to keep ICE out from deporting illegal aliens is to cover up their scheme of massive fraud, which has resulted in illegals getting government largesse and voting exclusively Democrat. That's it. That's all. That's that. That they were chanting, "Kristi Noem will hang." That's not protected speech.
Here, when they hear the mayor of their city, can you pull behind them?
Yeah, this is incivil. It is animalistic. It is Kent State 2026. It's Kent State 2026. It's the same damn thing that the left does. They put their willing dupes up as cannon fodder, and then when one of them is killed, which is what the left hopes for, then they claim victimhood.
It's ICE. They're trying to kidnap people. Please pull behind them.
The president stands with ICE. I stand with ICE. We stand with all of our law enforcement officers.
Yeah, and the only people who are against ICE are Democrats and the people who are being paid to go to these protests. That's it. The American people are rock solid behind this. And here's some more news. You remember last week Nick Shirley had that video that's been seen 500 million times? And he's got his partner in crime, David Hawk. David Hawk's the kind of older white gentleman that's been hanging out with him, talking about all that. Well, I guess Nick Shirley has another video coming out today that makes that video look like child's play.
Look, I just want to say everything I've done on my own. I don't make a penny off this. I was born here. I grew up here. My whole family's here. And I'm not going to sit by while this happens and not do anything. I'm the guy who's going to make the difference. And I'm telling you, when this next video comes out, it's going to be World War III.
Ooh, I can't wait to see this. And it is massive, and we are seeing the exposition of the most corrupt government, the largest crime family in world history. Right here in America, it has been exposed, and it is being exposed. And this is when I tell you that the Democrat Party, they die like movie vampires, dragging, kicking, scratching, trying to drag you into hell with them. That's what they're doing. I was right. And it's only going to build and build and build. And then eventually, it's going to be taken down. And it may require force by federal authorities to bring it down, to kick it in the butt, because it definitely needs that. We are witnessing seditious behavior. We are witnessing animalistic behavior. And we are seeing Democrat politicians literally wanting to start a civil war. They don't know what they're getting into. They're chihuahuas on the other side of a fence line, and they're about to get bit. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show.
Greenland is a land that should be our land. That's what I have planned. Plan for Greenland. It is strategic. It's rich in minerals. Greenland was made for you and me. I'd like to own it, but Denmark's wary. Might have to use the military. Security it would provide it. Greenland was made for you and me. Once we own it, we could rename it. Could call it Trump land or even Don land. It's gonna happen. It will be ours soon. Greenland was made for you and me. Greenland was made for you and me.
Step down, step down. Tim Walz should step down for allowing so much fraud. If Tim Walz would resign, Minnesota would applaud. More than $1 billion lost to fraud, a tremendous cost. Step down, Tim Walz should step down. He cannot carry on. Step down, step down. Do it today. Tim Walz, you need to go. Somalis are all on welfare, and the Dems just seem to not care. Ilhan Omar, she needs to go. GTFO, GTFO, GTFO. Many are anti-Semitic. Their statements have been pathetic. They're a threat to all you know. GTFO, GTFO, GTFO. They are always expressing hate of America. Why are they here? Must deport before it's too late. Talk about holiday cheer. Our language, they will not learn it. Own money, refuse to earn it. They are gaming the system so. GTFO, GTFO, GTFO.
Your App Store.
The Rob Carson Show podcast is everywhere. Go to newsmax.com/listen for details.
To the officer by reaching a conclusion before the investigation takes place.
I haven't heard you say once what a disservice it's done for Mayor Fry to get up and to tell ICE to get the F out of his city, and AOC to stand up before she had any of the facts and call this officer a murderer. For individuals, well, call them out, Jake. Spend as much time calling them out.
Okay.
I have provided you with facts and information to back up every single word that we have said and every single part of this investigation. And if you don't like it, that's fine. But we're going to continue to do the right thing to keep the American people safe.
I know that is Christine Ohm giving Jake Tapper a little what for. You know, it's amazing that it's bad in the mainstream media to conclude that Renee Wolf tried to roll over the police officer and murder him. But it's good if you conclude that the ICE agent murdered her. That's exactly what the left is trying to play, and it is not going to work. It is their argument is falling apart. This is going to dissipate into the ether like nobody's business. We've got other fish to fry these days. We've got Iran killing protesters. Donald Trump going to be taking action there. Democrats complaining about it because they'd rather see the people of Iran in bondage than Donald Trump doing something about it. Among other things, we have every right to move bases into Iceland, or I should say Greenland. It is a 1951 treaty that allows us, we could put as many bases in Greenland as we want, plus that China and Russia are surrounding the country with submarines and destroyers, and Donald Trump is saying, we're not going to give Greenland over to Russia and China. So there you go. And again, Democrat Party, oh, Donald Trump, he's bad. Honestly, you guys are so broken. We finally have a president who has some cojones. Honestly, he's a stronger president than even Ronald Reagan. And nothing against Reagan. I know. I worked for Rush Limbaugh many years, and you don't say anything about Ronald Reagan. But I'm going to tell you right now, Donald Trump has faced much more aggressiveness, violence, political hate, negative press coverage, being the Justice Department weaponized against him, 2 impeachments, raid of his home, 2 attempted assassination attempts, and Donald Trump has risen all above this, and he is here for a reason. And a lot of people are realizing that the Democrats rigging and stealing the 2020 election. Yeah, I can say that now. It was a big mistake for them because it gave us 4 years to endure this nonsense, and 4 years to gather evidence, and 4 years to commit to saving our country. And we're doing that right now. And there's nothing that the Democrat Party can do about it. It's so just absolutely glorious. By the way, Jerome Powell is a criminal investigation has been launched into the Fed chair, Jerome Powell. Now, Jerome Powell is a political tool. He lowered interest rates when Joe Biden was in the presidential race so Joe Biden would get elected, and he's kept them high to C-block Donald Trump's economy. That's all there is to it. The investigation focuses on the central bank's renovation of its Washington headquarters, which has ballooned into the billions. And he testified before Congress last year, and they're saying he may have lied. And you know somebody is in a lot of hot water, especially a Fed chair, when they do a video and put it up on social media to act like they're innocent.
Good evening. On Friday, the Department of Justice served the Federal Reserve with grand jury subpoenas, threatening a criminal indictment related to my testimony.
What he's trying to do there, I don't know what's going on. Brian, am I hearing this? Are you hearing this? We have some issues with the signal. I'm going to go ahead and check and make sure we are on. But
You're on.
Okay, I am on. Okay. I don't know what happened, but I'm hearing a major buzz in my ear. Let me bring this down. I'm not sure what exactly happened. I'm just going to go ahead and roll with it. But Jerome Powell is trying to be out in front of this and try to garner some sort of sympathy when he is under a federal investigation. Here's a little more.
Before the Senate Banking Committee last June. That testimony concerned in part a multi-year project to renovate historic Federal Reserve office buildings. I have deep respect for the rule of law and for accountability in our democracy.
You're a political tool.
No one, certainly not the chair of the Federal Reserve, is above the law. But this unprecedented action should be seen in the broader context of the administration's threats and ongoing pressure. This new threat is not about my testimony last June or about the renovation of the Federal Reserve.
Yes, it is, because here's the deal. You are going to be... Okay, there's something with the microphone, I think. Brian, I'm just going to ask Brian, do you hear that ringing?
Yes.
Okay. Might have to replace the microphone in a few minutes here. I'm not sure what's going on. But this is actually about that testimony because he's going to be removed from office in May. He has to leave. So, of course, this is not about removing him from office because he's going to be out here sooner than later. Let's go with Greg Jarrett talking about what should happen to him. All right, let me try that again. Here we go.
Sure, there could be. The question is, did Powell lie to the Senate Banking Committee about the costs of renovations of two rather lavish buildings? The overrun has been staggering in the billions. The irony, of course, is the Fed blames inflation for that. The question was Powell dishonest, deceptive? Extravagant, lush amenities, gardens, fountains, fancy marble, ornate fixtures, luxury dining room. He denies any of that, but there is evidence it does exist. So the U.S. attorney, which began the probe a couple of months ago, has now issued grand jury subpoenas.
Yes.
But just because you do that doesn't mean criminal charges will eventually ensue.
But Powell, of course, is overcompensating, feeling some sort of guilt or whatever about this, and he decided to play the sympathy card. I think the mic sounds better now. Thank you for your patience on that. It was kind of, it's kind of hard to do a show when there is a howling whistle in your ear. Who knows? Maybe Jerome Powell did it. Maybe the ICE protester did it. Who the hell knows? But Jerome Powell is in hot water. And again, this isn't about trying to remove him 4 months or so before he's scheduled to leave. This is because he's corrupt as hell. That's basically it. And Donald Trump is a builder, you see. And Donald Trump went into the Federal Reserve, the new building that has been now $2.5 billion for one building. And he said, man, we're getting screwed. Somebody's getting a little off the top, and he knows his business. So Jerome Powell, no matter how much you beg, it ain't going to make any difference. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. Hey, guys, it's Carson for Relief Factor. I saw an ad for Relief Factor a while back, and I saw a guy literally in tears with how he talked about the pain that he was experiencing was gone. It happened to me, too. I started it taking a few months ago. My hip was really bothering me, and I wondered, because I'm the age of, replacement of joints and whatnot, if it could be better. And I started taking Relief Factor, and it healed. It's a 100% drug-free, research-based formula created to help your body's natural inflammatory response, the same one that causes everyday aches and pains from aging, exercise, overexertion, and just normal living. It helped me with my hip, my neck, my shoulders, all the places that remind you you're not 25 anymore. Relief Factor supports a healthy response to inflammation, helping you stay active and keep those joints and muscles feeling good. It's made with 4 key ingredients: omega-3 fatty acids, resveratrol, curcumin, and icariin, each one helping from a different angle. You can start with the 3-week quick start for just $19.95. That's less than a cup of coffee a day. So if you're tired of creaking like an old floorboard every time you move, give Relief Factor a try. Go to ReliefFactor.com. That's ReliefFactor.com and feel the difference. Relief Factor, because getting out of bed shouldn't count as a workout. Hey guys, it's Carson for Quince.com. Colder days mean layers, and your winter wardrobe may have you considering a winter reset. I went to a jazz club the other night wearing a Quince tee, another shirt over it, and a Quince wool jacket. A woman said, "You look fine." I mean, it blew me away. I've spent every dime for my kids and my wife for 25 years. Now I feel confident and I look good with Quince. I couldn't believe it. Quince has everything you need: men's Mongolian cashmere sweaters, wool coats, leather, and suede outerwear, each piece made with premium materials by trusted factories that meet rigorous standards. No middlemen means no traditional markups. The wool coat I wore to the jazz club the other night turned heads, cost less than I paid elsewhere. You can also find anything for your home, including kitchen, bath, and even for travel. Refresh your wardrobe at Quince. Go to quince.com/Newsmax. That's QUINCE.com/Newsmax for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/Newsmax. That's quince.com/Newsmax.
Yes, they have no Maduro. They have no Maduro today. They bombed him and grabbed him. The CIA nabbed him. In handcuffs he was hauled away. Maduro has been indicted, and Venezuelans are excited because they have no Maduro. And they thank the U.S. of A. Nicholas has been captured. His freedom's been taken away. Maduro is so vile, his wife will stand trial. We are gonna make them pay. Yes, they have no Maduro. They have no Maduro today.
got some audience.
It was highly disrespectful of law enforcement. The woman and her friend were highly disrespectful of law enforcement. You saw that. They were harassing them, were following for days and for hours. And I think, frankly, they're professional agitators.
They are.
But just disrespect.
And I'd like to find out, and we are going to find out who's paying for it.
But just disrespect.
With their brand new signs and all the different things. But these are professional agitators, and law enforcement should not be in a position where they have to put up with this stuff.
No, they shouldn't. It's utterly ridiculous, and it is obscene. It is ridiculous. It is violent. It is deadly. It is dangerous, and it needs to end. That's it. This isn't about free speech. This is about a paid-for civil insurrection, uncivil insurrection, paid for by outside sources. There's no doubt about it. No doubt about it at all. For instance, I found some interesting information. No Kings financial records have been released. The top financiers of the No Kings protest, the organic protest, where everybody says that Donald Trump is a king. No, nobody believes it. Arabella, $79 million. Warren Buffett, $16 million. Really? Ford Foundation, $51 million. Rockefeller Foundation, $26 million. Soros, $72 million. Tides Foundation, $45 million. A total of $294 million. Riot Incorporated Radical Network got $100 million in taxpayer funds to support Antifa and radical left groups, according to the Government Accountability Office. Unbelievable. This is all bought and paid for, and it is not protected speech at all. Here is Seamus Bruner last week talking about and testifying about Riot Incorporated.
Riot Inc. has many divisions. It doesn't just have the Antifa boots on the ground division. It has PR divisions. It has marketing divisions. It has a very well-funded legal division to get these boots on the ground back on the streets as quickly as possible. But it does have those investors that I mentioned. Number two, we have identified dozens of radical organizations, not just the decentralized Antifa organizations, but dozens of radical organizations that have received more than $100 million from the Riot Inc. investors. These would be the lawyer groups. These would be the groups that advocate for calling good, honest Americans fascists, etc. And then three, I think the most shocking thing is that we have found that more than $100 million in U.S. taxpayer funding has flowed into
all these jerkweeds who immediately the day after October the 7th started protesting against the Jewish people. Yeah, all bought and paid for, not organic. 2020, summer 2020, not organic. Elon Musk is a Nazi, not organic. This is bought and paid for insurrection. This is sedition.
These funding networks, including at least $4 million to these very groups themselves, not just Antifa types, but there was an event in Atlanta called Stop Cop City. Over 60 rioters were charged with domestic terrorism. These groups received money for that.
They need to find the people who have funded this. They need to have them extradited to the United States to face criminal charges.
And we followed it to the top of what we call the protest industrial complex, Riot Inc., and we found a network of NGOs. It's not just the Soros network, the Open Society network. It's other funding networks, the Arabella funding network, the Tides funding network, Neville Roy Singham and his network, Foreign Cash. And it's also big left-wing funders. Some of them are not citizens of this country. Mr. Hans-Jörg Wyss of Switzerland. They're pouring money into this entire ecosystem. And so I want to share three money facts with you about what we call Riot Inc. Number one, like any corporation, Riot Inc. has many divisions. It doesn't just have the Antifa boots on the ground division. It has PR divisions. It has marketing divisions. It has a very well-funded legal division to get these boots on the ground back on the streets as quickly as possible. But it does have those.
All of these protests are bullcrap. All of them are bullcrap. I told you this. We're in a de facto civil war with paid soldiers for hire. Duh. When did I start saying that? Oh, no, maybe last year sometime. Doesn't take a genius, people. Just a little bit of work, a little bit of common sense. So if you would have bought gold on Friday, you would have made $118 an ounce. Gold on Friday was $4,506. an ounce. You know what it is today? $4,624. For God's sake, are you kidding me? Oh, it doesn't end there. Silver was at $79.95 on Friday. It's at almost $86 today. It's gone up over $6 an ounce. Turmoil in the world, uncertainty, mean that precious metals go through the ceiling. If you're a first-time gold buyer, text my name, Rob, to 989898 for Birch Gold. Get the ball rolling on investing in gold, and you could qualify for a rebate up to $10,000 on qualifying purchases. $118. Gold went up $118 an ounce since Friday. Silver went up another $6. It's now $86 for God's sake. $86 for silver, $4,600 for gold. Why are you not on the gold train? Is it going to take it getting to $10,000? I don't know. Text my name, Rob, to 989898 and get the ball rolling on gold. Do you think that turmoil in Iran, do you think turmoil in Greenland, do you think that is going to, is that going to cause gold to dip? I doubt it. You better get on it. Text my name, Rob, to 989898. Rob to 989898. He's acting ICE director. Todd Lyons talking about these groups that are bought and paid for that are essentially fomenting a civil war in the United States.
Well, Peter, ICE, Homeland Security Investigations and the FBI, we're actively investigating many groups all across the U.S. now that are actively targeting ICE officers and agents and other federal partners in their day-to-day mission. So we do believe there's a criminal conspiracy going on. We are working with all of our federal partners to try to track down the funding,
criminal conspiracy,
the leadership of these groups, because, we would see time and time again ICE officers and agents would be doing an operation, and within seconds to minutes, all of a sudden, there's 50, 60 protesters on that site.
Yeah.
So there's an active group out there that is criminally based, that's, impeding.
Yeah, that's why all these protests pop up here and there and everywhere and in Grand Rapids and all that just nonsense. It's all ridiculous. The children need to be spanked. Here's a jerkweed in Minneapolis. And listen, again, this is the Chihuahua on the other side of the fence line with the pit bull sitting over there barking up a storm. Listen to this.
We have to show up with guns. We have to. There's no other.
This is threatening a civil war. This is threatening a military conflict. This is not freedom of speech.
Way around it. I don't care if I don't have a Minnesota carry permit. I'm unarmed right now, but this is the last time I show up to face these guys without a weapon.
Yeah. Good luck with that, buddy.
There's no way. I got shot with a pepper ball 5 minutes after walking in here. I never laid a finger on them. I never raised a hand to them. I've only been using my voice. The time for speaking is over. The time for niceties is over. The time...
Well, you haven't been nice. You've been behaving like complete unhinged a-holes for about a decade now. For about a decade since Antifa started showing up in line when Donald Trump was running the first time just to start fights. Go ahead. Honestly, little yippy Chihuahua, keep barking. We're about ready to move the fence.
We're there. This is the dark place. This is the dark time. We have people being sent to Salvadorian concentration camps. We got other countries being raided for their oil. We're in the dark time.
Yeah, you know what does this? You know what causes this mania? And it is intentional. It's Democrats for the last decade using this kind of language, calling Donald Trump a MAGA fascist, enemy of democracy in front of Independence Hall, calling Donald Trump a fascist, calling the ICE Gestapo, etc. They have whipped their useful idiots into a lather.
Masked men jumping out of unmarked cars, people disappearing, no due process. No oversight, zero accountability happening in the United States of America today. People ask, well, is authoritarianism, you're being hyperbolic? We're being hyperbolic.
Yes, you are.
If you're a black and brown community, it's here.
When I see ICE, I see slave patrols.
The dangers that we saw in Nazi Germany are the dangers that we need to react.
They are doing this intentionally. And there are people who are falling for this mania, this social contagion, and they're going to get their rear end shot. They're going to get their rear ends shot. This is Michael Fanone. He was he's a privileged little private school boy who was a police officer at Capitol Hill, and he's lying about being like down with the struggle, wearing a Bass Pro hat and all that. And he says that the Second Amendment, basically he's saying that they ought to be able to fire on ICE agents.
And it's time for the American people to organize and to utilize their Second Amendment right to protect themselves from what has clearly become an unaccountable and lawless agency.
Okay, this is not protected speech. Not protected speech whatsoever. On the other side of the break, I'm going to explain why the ICE officer was justified in shooting Renee Good. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. I had a little bit.
WCBM.
I mean, contrary to what I heard out here the other day, this person was not a random passerby who just happened to be driving through her neighborhood. This person is part of a group of people who form convoys to interfere with federal law enforcement operations. They drive convoys of cars into active law enforcement situations. They interfere with ongoing law enforcement activity. This is a felony to do that, A. B, this person had been following ICE around all day, apparently, according to witnesses, now according to further reporting. C, they didn't follow lawful commands to stop, get out of the car. D, they accelerated a car into the officer.
Drive, baby, drive.
Hit the officer. I don't understand how you could watch this video and all the
because the Democrat Party, you could say, I mean, listen, there are people who believe you can make a little girl into a little boy and a little boy into a little girl to compete with girls. Honestly, there's no common sense. There's no reason with the left in this country. There's no, you're out of your friggin' minds. And they take advantage of people like Renee Good, who are subject to social contagion. This woman so careless, so unhinged that she threw a temper tantrum, uprooted her son from school, moved to Canada for God's sake, then decided to move back to Minnesota where she was not working and going out and tailing ICE agents and getting involved in in law enforcement operations, and ultimately she got shot in the face. There you go. And it was right through the windshield. There's no debate about this. It's ridiculous to think otherwise. The video says exactly what was happening. And if you watch the video of her in the car, honking the horn, interrupting the law enforcement and all of that, and then the guy who shot her, deservedly so, has been doxxed. Jonathan Ross is his name. Bill Ackman appears to have donated $10,000 to a fundraiser in support of this officer and his family. They've raised, I think, over $100,000. They ought to raise $1 million. Of course, all the lefties in Minnesota raised $1.5 million for Renee Good and her wife and her surviving son, who, she had no regard whatsoever. She had no regard about raising a child in such a bat guano crazy atmosphere. And then ultimately put herself in harm's way. Apparently thought she was bulletproof. I mean, honestly, that's what the left thinks. They did, and you're dealing with children here, and occasionally the children get a spanking. Here is Kristen Welker asking Tom Homan if he thought that Renee Good was a domestic terrorist. And I'll give you a hint. She was.
Is about the way in which the woman who was shot and killed is being labeled as a domestic terrorist. Just to be clear, is anyone who protests ICE a domestic terrorist?
That's a dumb question. Is anyone who protests ICE a domestic terrorist? She wasn't anyone just protesting ICE. She wasn't standing with a sign on an overpass. She was in traffic, stopping an ICE vehicle. When an officer approached her vehicle, she did not stop the car. She proceeded to attempt to run over the officer.
Terrorist in the eyes of the administration.
I can't say that. It's a case-by-case basis, but
yeah.
If you look up the definition of terrorism, is there violence? Is there threat of violence based on an ideology that wants to change the way the government does what we do? Look up the definition of terrorism.
But was Secretary Noem correct to label her a domestic terrorist, Mr. Homan?
Look, we don't know what I don't know if Secretary Noem knows.
What, was it okay for you to call the ICE agent a murderer? This is the double standard. It's utterly, utterly ridiculous. This is Liz Collin, great journalist from Minnesota. I'm so glad I don't live there anymore. Talking to Chris Medell. He is a Minnesota state attorney.
On that note, another question Alpha News viewers have asked Chris, shouldn't protesters who promote violence face consequences? We're not talking about people holding signs or shouting on the sidewalk. We're talking about the ones who are doing far more dangerous things. Yeah,
they're the domestic terrorists, you see, like Renee Good.
Physically obstructing law enforcement officers, coordinating efforts to track ICE agents.
Yeah.
Or interfering in ways that appear to be getting more and more violent. We're also seeing some politicians become far more agitated as well. I wanted to highlight this. Brad Tapke, he's a state legislator who represents the Shakopee area. He called coordinated efforts against ICE the right effing work. And when protesters cross the line, can anything be done, or what do you think should be done about it?
Listen.
I would encourage everybody listening to go look up online the 18 USC 111. That's 18 USC 111. It's called assaulting, resisting, or impeding certain officers or employees.
What's it say?
It says, it's very clear, under Section A1, it is a federal crime to forcibly assault, resist, oppose, impede, intimidate, or interfere with any federal law enforcement officer on account of his or her official duties. By coming out and saying that, you are simply violating this obstruction of justice statute. And I really hope at some point that the FBI, ICE, whomever, and the U.S. Attorney's Office for the District of Minnesota makes an example out of somebody.
I hope so, too. I absolutely do. And by the way, Tim Votes is in a whole lot of hot agua. People are saying he is going to resign this week. this week. And as I mentioned earlier, Nick Shirley says there's a new video coming out today that is going to dwarf the one that he did a couple weeks ago that got 500 million views and uncovered all of this graft and corruption in Minnesota and around the country. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. Hey guys, it's Carson from Birch Gold. A new year means new financial goals like making sure your savings are secure and the next break. So you guys are talking about Pluribus. I told you about Pluribus on Friday. I had friends over. We ended up watching some Pluribus in the apartment till about midnight on Saturday. I fell asleep because I was so tired from cooking all day. It's just a hell of a show. Isn't it a hell of a show? My gosh. Hell of a show, you Rumbly-Roo viewers over there. And by the way, I'm feeling fine. I just have a little bit of something in the throat here. So, Cook Walls, yeah. Walls needs to go bye-bye. He's going to go bye-bye, guys. He's going to go to jail. And I'll tell you what, Ilhan Omar's shooting her damn mouth off. She just don't know when to shut up. She just does not know when to shut the hell up. It's just honestly ridiculous. I'm trying to find a soundbite I want to use next. Ilhan Omar. Yeah, I'll do that next. I'll have Ilhan Omar next. She doesn't know when to shut up. Okay, who's watching over on YouTube? Druza, hello. Oh, you're behaving like a moron. Druza, get him, guys. Get Druza, get him. Go get him like piranhas on a calf's leg. Deplorable Dinosaur, Mickey Hastings, hello. Good to see you. Wolf Annabelle, hello. Yeah, we had some sort of squeak on the thing here. I got to talk now.
I'm at 2.5 here.
Was blocking the road. They are claiming this is an act of terrorism.
Yeah, Renee Nicole Good, as you hear her say, she's not mad.
Everything she's going to say, Ilhan Omar, is a lie.
And she's sitting in her car, peacefully waving cars to get.
No, she was honking her horn.
By this
blocking ICE agents.
Agent, as you see, gets out of his car. Automatically starts running towards her, trying to open her door.
Yeah, told her to get out of the car.
She's scared. She tries to turn the wheel away.
She always sounds like she's choking.
And then you see the other officer, who can clearly see the car is move towards the front of the car, which... No, the car was parked, and she decided to go toward the officer when he stood in front of it. They are saying that he has 10 years on service and is trained. He should know that you shouldn't be trying to get in front of a moving car.
Okay, there you go. Everything she just said was a complete lie. Oh, but Adam Schiff, who's known for lying, he took it a step further.
This 37-year-old woman drops her kid off at school.
She just dropped her kid off at school.
Involved in protest activity or anything. Seems to be in the wrong place at the wrong time.
That's an absolute lie. Everything he just said was a lie. I got to tell you, this Democrat Party is so broken, morally and intellectually bankrupt. I used to say that the Democrat Party needed to reform itself or disappear into the dustbin of history. It just needs to be dissembled. The federal law enforcement has to go after the Democrat Party, after all of the Democrats who have allowed this sort of fraud to happen, all of the Democrats who are fomenting civil war in the country. The party is done. The Democrat Party is dead. They're not going to win the midterms. They have no chance of winning the midterms because they're offering nothing. They have an 18% approval rating, probably lower now. They are against Maduro being removed from Venezuela and Venezuelans being free. They're against Iran being free. And by the way, they're saying as many as 1,000 people may have been killed in Iran by the Ayatollah, 10,000 arrested, and Donald Trump has a hair trigger right now and is debating what to do to take the Ayatollah out. All of that is coming up in the next hour of the show. This is the Rob Carson Show.
to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
The Department of Homeland Security has released this brand new video. Please watch your screen. It's leading up to the shooting and the death of Renee Good by an ICE agent. What we now know, though, is so much more with each video we see.
Really?
DHS is now calling out mainstream media for failing to cover the new video. The agency argues Renee Good was stalking and impeding during an ongoing investigation, and the evidence is on the tape. Speaks for itself on this post. The Department of Homeland Security has released this brand new video.
There you
Please
go.
Watch.
So yeah, she was stalking the agents. She didn't have a job. She abandoned her son. She a year before she moved to Canada and uprooted her kid. Went bat guano crazy. Probably adopted a few cats, and then of course got involved in a police enforcement engagement and ended up getting shot because, you know, that's what happens when you do that sort of thing. That's what happens when you involve yourself where you shouldn't be involved and you threaten a police officer and then try to run him over. And of course, like I said, this is gonna dissipate into the atmosphere like a fart in a Cat 5 hurricane. I told you, because you know it was just the next thing. How many I told you every time it's the next thing. It's the next thing the left wants to glom onto to take down Donald Trump. But in this case, they're trying to take away from massive fraud in Minnesota. Massive fraud in Minnesota and around the country to the tune of trillions of dollars. I told you years ago, I've been saying this. If you've been listening to the show, if you're a new listener, excuse me. But for years, I've said that we're going to find out that our country is as corrupt as the Soviet Union, but with $7 trillion annually to steal. Now we're discovering that the fraud is so much it actually covers the deficit. So the national debt, you know, we got $7 trillion in expenses, and we're bringing in $5 trillion, something like that. $2 trillion annual deficit. That's all fraud. Do you realize how much is being spent on fraud in this country? Never gets fixed. I told you, things never get fixed. Things never get fixed. The VA is still broken. The infrastructure is still broken. Social Security is still bankrupt. And you know why? Because they're just robbing us blind. This is why people move to Washington, D.C. and become filthy rich on a federal salary. It is breathtaking. It is breathtaking how corrupt this government is. I'm trying to get to everything today because there's so much going on, so many developments. The riots in Iran. The people of Persia, I believe, will be free. The Ayatollah has attempted to crack down. They've cut off all the power, all the internet, taken all the Starlink from the protesters. They say at least 1,000 dead, 10,000 imprisoned by the Ayatollah, and he has to go. Now the Ayatollah and the Iranians want to talk to Donald Trump. Donald Trump needs to say, Ayatollah, you're done. Get the hell out of the country. Get the hell out of the country. We've waited nearly 50 years for this. Barack Obama blew them off, sent pallets of cash to the Ayatollah, keep them in power. Iran, for nearly 50 years, has spread terror around the world. It has resulted in tens of thousands of people dying, including thousands of Americans. He needs to be taken out of power. That's it. He cannot remain in office. You cannot kill and imprison this many people and then say, okay, we'll stop now if you leave us in power. That's not going to happen. And, of course, Republicans like Rand Paul are saying, oh, yeah, we need congressional authority to do any sort of a military operation. That's not the case, by the way. And it certainly isn't the case with a Congress that is openly hostile to the president. And the Congress is openly hostile to the president. Here's Lindsey Graham.
The War Powers Act was passed in 1973 by a bunch of liberal Democrats. It's a power grab by the Congress against the commander-in-chief. Every president since 1973 has rejected the idea that Congress can substitute our judgment for theirs. So what these five are good friends. They're creating a situation where you have 535 commander-in-chiefs, not one. There's never been a court case in the history of the country.
You've got people in Congress who hate Donald Trump so much, they would rather have people live in bondage than for him to get the credit for freeing people. That's a truth.
Where a military operation was terminated by the Supreme Court because
they wanted Maduro out when Joe Biden was the president. They didn't do anything about it. When Donald Trump came into office and ultimately had the stones to go in and do it, then all of a sudden it was bad.
Congress didn't approve. There have been 130 military operations by the commander-in-chief without congressional approval.
Yeah.
So here's
Barack Obama did it for years.
My point. You're creating a disaster for the country. If a member of Congress doesn't like what the president's doing as commander-in-chief militarily, cut off funding for that operation. We have power of the purse. You can do that. If you think the president doing something illegally, you can impeach him. But we can't have a situation where Congress becomes commander-in-chief. That would be a disaster.
Because even if it's profoundly good, if it's on Donald Trump's watch, the Democrat Party and many rhinos in Congress will stop it, regardless of how much suffering there is. Here is Lindsey Graham talking about the Ayatollah.
But President Trump has chosen wisely to be with the protesters. He's the first president since 1979 to pick the people over the Ayatollah. President Trump says, if you continue to kill your people, all hell will break out, all hell to pay. That's as strong as when Reagan said, Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall. President Trump is not Obama. He picked the people over the Ayatollah. Here's what's going to happen. We got to make action match the words. It's the biggest deal since the fall of the Berlin Wall.
It is.
Regime change is what we're talking about. Not from Lindsey Graham, but from the people. The people of Iran are tired of living the way they live. If you're a 16-year-old girl and you don't wear the hairdress right, they take you off a bus and they kill you. If the Ayatollah goes, it's the best change.
You know, for things to happen, good people have to stand up, and they have to do something to stop evil. And if there's a bunch of Democrats who hate Donald Trump trying to C-block him from bringing freedom to the people of Iran, run them over. Run them over. Lindsey Graham.
Trump has done what Reagan did. Reagan went to the Berlin Wall and said, tear this wall down. Whatever action we're going to take, Mr. President, needs to embolden the protesters and scare the hell out of the regime. If I were you, Mr. President, I would kill the leadership that are killing the people. You got to end it. End this will. Right. Stand with the people, Mr. President. Let them know.
Go get them. Go get them. Come on now. Happy this is a green light. This is Riza Pahlavi. He's the the heir apparent to the Shah of Iran, talking about what's happening in Iran.
Mr. President, you have already established your legacy as a man committed to peace and fighting evil forces. There is a reason why people in Iran are renaming streets after your name. They know that you are totally opposite to
Democrats hate it.
Barack Obama or Joe Biden. They know that you're not going to throw them under the bus as they have had before. This is why they believe that this time they are empowered by the hope that you have their back.
We cannot let down the people of Iran as they are so close to freedom. That's it. That's all. It's not going to require boots on the ground. It's not going to require boots on the ground. But you cannot have, and I said this after October the 7th, I said, we cannot have the Ayatollah stay in power. That's it. He has spread so much evil. These people have spread so much evil. Radical Islamists has spread so much evil. And Iran is the heart of it. And we have to cut the heart out. We have to cut it out. Here is Donald Trump talking about Iran on Air Force One over the weekend.
Have they crossed your red line yet to trigger a response?
Yes, he crossed the red line.
It looks like, and there seem to be some people killed that aren't supposed to be killed. These are violent, if you call them leaders, I don't know if they're leaders or just they rule through violence. But we're looking at it very seriously. The military is looking at it, and we're looking at some very strong options.
You know, it's interesting. Martha Raddatz on ABC. She was trying to act like, this is typical of the left, that this is about the economy of Iran. Not about Sharia law, not about girls being beaten to death for not wearing a hijab, not covering their face. No. It's about the economy. This is how awful this woman is.
Alarming images coming out of Iran this morning with massive violent demonstrations rocking the country
in protest of Iran's failing economy and devastating inflation.
That's not the case at all. That's not the case at all. Why would there be protests in America and in Paris and in London about Iran's economy and inflation? Honestly, so broken. You are so broken. This is why your network is just dead. Just dead. CBS is trying to give itself CPR, and your network is just dead. How dare you say something that preposterous, that it's about the economy and inflation? Honestly, really, really ridiculous. I want to play the funniest soundbite of the weekend. Donald Trump being, there was a pool reporter on the plane, and she didn't want to admit that she worked for CNN because it's fake news, and Donald Trump found out.
Which options have you been briefed on? Are you meeting with senior officials?
I'm going to tell you the.
Are you meeting with your
Am I going to really? Are you asking me to say what will they do? Where will we attack? When?
Yeah.
And at what angle will we attack from?
Are you considering? I'm with the U.S. White House TV pool. I'm wondering.
She says I'm with the U.S. White House TV pool.
Are you being briefed on options? I'm with CNN, sir.
Why don't you just say I'm with CNN?
I want you to say you work at CNN.
She says I'm with the White House pool. And I say, what? You're with CNN. You're with fake news. Because CNN is fake news.
Yeah, there was a reporter on the street in Minneapolis. All these violent protesters were standing around, and this one CNN reporter standing there, and a protester was screaming at her, and he says, "Where are you from?" She said, "CNN," and he backed off. My microphone is beginning to fail. I'm going to come back, take a break. This is the Rob Carson Show.
There's no place like jail for Kelly to stay. Alyssa Slotkin should be there too. Their sentencing will be a happy day, 'cause they broke the law and they will get their due. I'm watching Jason Crow on CNN. He is looking scared, trying hard to dodge the FBI. Miss Houlihan looked nervous. She was unprepared. I will be delighted when they're all indicted, 'cause there's no place like jail for those six to stay. In cells where all of them should be. A court-martial, it could come any day. Lock Mark Kelly up and throw away the key. Drugs transported by boat. Venezuela, you best take note. Cartels, they're having fits, 'cause they're men. They were blown to bits. The drug boat, it now resides on the ocean floor. The drug boat, Marco says we're gonna take out more. Yes, their lives are in danger if they take another chance. 'Cause drugs, we won't tolerate. Shut it down. before it's too late. No drugs. A boat that was filled with drugs.
The FBI, the DOJ, the DNI, and the CIA are all looking at a 10-year-long government conspiracy case in which they're likely going to look at RICO charges, look at the Democrat Party and the left as some sort of criminal organization writ large, and people like Brennan, Obama, Comey, and the upper echelons of the Democrat Party are all now in the crosshairs of this grand jury that will be impaneled just today.
Yeah, this is in Florida. That's George Papadopoulos. He was targeted by the Biden administration. I actually had to meet him a few years ago at the Newsmax Christmas party. Really hell of a nice guy. I mean, a really, really nice guy. So this is what we've been waiting for. This is what we've been waiting for. We want accountability. I have a feeling it's beginning to happen. And it had better happen. Gold on Friday. If you would have bought gold on Friday, you could have got it for $4,500.06. Or no, $4,506, I should say. If you waited to today, you'd pay $118 more an ounce. It's $46.24 today. $118 an ounce. It went up over the weekend. Wow. If you would have bought silver on Friday, you could have got it for $79.95 an ounce, which is almost just shy of $80, which is unbelievable. Today, if you want to buy it, it's almost $86. Wow. I've never seen anything like it. You know, I've been talking about birch gold for a couple of years now. I've never seen anything like it. I couldn't have even imagined when it was $2,600 a year ago. $2,600, and now it's $46.24. Knock it on $5,000 an ounce. Global uncertainty, baby. Central banks buying gold. Gold becoming more rare and desirable. If you're a first-time gold buyer, if you go with Birch Gold, just text my name, Rob, to 989898, Rob to 989898. You're eligible for a rebate up to $10,000. It ends on the end of this month. It's already the 12th. You might want to get on it. January the 30th, the final day, you're eligible to get a little money back, a little rebate action. Just text my name to Rob to 989898. A+ rating for the BBB. I've got money with Birch Gold. It's growing. Yay. You should do the same thing. Claim your eligibility today. Again, text Rob to 989898 for Birch Gold. These are Democrats in Minnesota. In Minnesota, they could see the video of Renee Good trying to run over the police officer, the police officer shooting her through the windshield, which shows that you're going to get run over. You shoot through the vehicle that's coming at you, you see. That's what happened. New video has shown that she was there. She was trying to block the officer. She was honking. She'd been stalking the officers for days. She was part of this violent rabble that had been involving themselves in police actions. It is illegal. It is violent. It's become more violent, and she ended up losing her life because she played with the big dogs and she got bit. And she got bit. But these are Minnesotans. Some of the most Minnesota liberals suck so badly. You have no idea. I lived in Minnesota for 5 years back in the 90s. They sucked then. Now they super suck. They are some of the worst people you can ever imagine. They don't listen to you. They don't care about facts. They have a narrative of their own, and it's always wrong, by the way. Always wrong. And in the face of billions of dollars of theft, in the face of hundreds of daycare centers featuring no no children at all. It is obvious the amount of fraud in Minnesota from the Somali community. But here's what they say.
How do you feel about the Somali fraud in Minneapolis?
I'll be honest, I haven't researched it a lot, but from what it looks like to me is it looks like
imagine not doing any research for a liberal. Oh, yeah, they don't.
A made-up concept from people trying to smear Governor Walz.
I checked into that a little bit, right? There's nothing going on there. There's like this edgelord going around stirring up his mega conservative base, but none of this stuff is rooted in truth and reality. And I think if you just go out, do your own research, like actually do that, like go and just like look at video evidence.
No, all the evidence is there. It's all you need, dear God. And the reason why that people feel like that is because they're ignorant. They read the Star Tribune, they listen to NPR, and that's it. Or WCCO. Here's Jacob Fry, the mayor of Minneapolis, the Justin Trudeau of Minneapolis, dancing around the fact that Tim Walz oversaw, or at least ignored, massive amounts of fraud.
Let me ask you about the leadership in your state. Dozens of people in Minnesota have been charged and convicted with stealing millions of dollars of taxpayer money for government programs. Do you think Governor Walz did enough to stop the fraud in your state? And do you support his decision not to run for re-election?
Well, look, Governor Walz is the reason that we've got paid family leave in Minnesota. He's the reason we've got free school lunches.
They got the free school lunches. Forget the billions of dollars that was stolen.
Him and I, we've been through thick and thin.
But did he do enough to combat fraud,
over these
Mayor?
last 5
Did he do
years.
enough to combat fraud?
Look, obviously, everybody could have done more, too.
Unbelievable. Honestly. David Hawk, he's the guy who worked with Nick Shirley. He's that older gentleman who's been following Nick Shirley around. He had been following all this fraud in Minnesota, screaming that there's nobody pay attention to him. Here he is talking about the next video from Nick Shirley.
Many of you are familiar with the video that Nick Shirley and I made. We have a second video that's coming out Monday that is 10 times worse.
Wow.
In the original video. It's going to be pretty shocking and it's pretty graphic.
Yeah, this is one of the things that this man has been saying for years.
Is a 5-year recap of all of the CCAP money, that's child care assistance payments, for the last 5 years. The top 102 recipients of that, 84 of them are Somali owned. You know how many children I've seen at those child care centers over the last 7 years? 0, not one.
And it's becoming too big to ignore, and the Democrat Party can't lie over it enough to cover it up unless you're dealing with idiots in Minnesota who just listen to NPR and read the Star Tribune. And then there's this.
Is this non-emergency medical transportation? So a search showed that Minnesota recognizes 1,020 NEMT companies. Almost 900 of them are Somali owned.
Wow.
So in the second video, Nick Shirley and I went to 16 of them. I've actually been to about 70 of them. They don't exist.
Wow.
They're in an apartment building. One of them's a liquor store. Another one's a wire transfer. Another one is something totally unreal. It's a grocery store. There are no vehicles. And the average NEMT company in the United States has 20 vehicles, and each vehicle generates about $70,000 a year. So you run those numbers, 800 companies, 20 vehicles, $70,000 a year, and it's an enormous sum of money. And the vast majority of these companies exist on paper only. They're not real. They have no assets, no office, and no vehicles.
And everybody in charge of that state in the Democrat Party knew this was going on because they allowed it to happen for Somali votes. There's no doubt about it. It is going to be proven. And there's a good chance they're saying Tim Walz is going to resign as the governor. So we won't see him hauled out of the governor's mansion in handcuffs. Representative Randy Fine, Republican from Florida, joins us next to talk about this and much more on the other side of the break. This is the Rob Carson Show. Hey guys, it's Carson for Quince.com. Colder days mean layers, and your winter wardrobe may have you considering a winter reset. I went to a jazz club the other night wearing a Quince tee, another shirt over it, and a Quince wool jacket. A woman said, "You look fine." I mean, it blew me away. I've spent every dime for my kids and my wife for 25 years. Now I feel confident and I look good with Quince. I couldn't believe it. Quince has everything you need. Men's Mongolian cashmere sweaters, wool coats, leather, and suede outerwear. Each piece made with premium materials by trusted factories that meet rigorous standards. No middlemen means no traditional markups. The wool coat I wore to the jazz club the other night turned heads. Cost less than I paid elsewhere. You can also find anything for your home, including kitchen, bath, and even for travel. Refresh your wardrobe at Quince. Go to quince.com/Newsmax. That's QUINCE.com/Newsmax for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/Newsmax. That's quince.com/Newsmax.
Rent-free, in libs' heads I'm living, the fits I am giving to Whoopi, Sunny, and Joy. Rent-free, I'm occupying, Rosie is lying if she says I'm not in her head. Break free, they simply can't do it. When you get down to it, they have TDS real bad. Hatred, just watch it as it spreads, because inside their heads I live.
Hey guys, it's Carson for Relief Factor. You know, I saw an ad for Relief Factor a while back, and I saw a guy literally in tears with how he talked about the pain that he was experiencing was gone. It happened to me, too. I started it taking a few months ago. My hip was really bothering me, and I wondered, because I'm the age of, replacement of joints and whatnot, if it could be better. And I started taking Relief Factor, and it healed. It's a 100% drug-free, research-based formula created to help your body's natural inflammatory response, the same one that cause everyday aches and pains from aging, exercise, overexertion, and just normal living. It helped me with my hip, my neck, my shoulders, all the places that remind you you're not 25 anymore. Relief Factor supports a healthy response to inflammation, helping you stay active and keep those joints and muscles feeling good. It's made with 4 key ingredients: omega-3 fatty acids, resveratrol, curcumin, and icariin, each one helping from a different angle. You can start with the 3-week quick start for just $19.95. That's less than a cup of coffee a day. So if you're tired of creaking like an old floorboard every time you move, give Relief Factor a try. Go to ReliefFactor.com. That's ReliefFactor.com and feel the difference. Relief Factor, because getting out of bed shouldn't count as a workout.
why that didn't come to pass and why we're here?
For one reason, Chris, Tim Walz is a coward. He is a coward. He would not guarantee that the Treasury Secretary of the United States of America would have police protection in the Minnesota state capitol. He is afraid of what is coming.
Yeah, that's Scott Besant talking to Breitbart about Tim Walz, who didn't provide protection for the Secretary of the Treasury when he came to the Capitol to talk about fraud, because Tim Walz knows that his days are numbered. Joining us on the Newsmax Hotline, Representative Randy Fine from Florida. Representative Fine, how are you today, sir?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Buddy, I tell you, the things are just moving at lightning speed. We've got what's happening in Minnesota. It looks like the narrative around this Renee Good person is collapsing pretty rapidly. The Democrat Party attempting to they're trying to get rid of ICE. They're trying to defund ICE. They're trying to stop ICE from uncovering all of the malfeasance and the fraud, the pay for play to bring illegals into the country and vote slavishly Democrat by loading them up with government largesse. What do you suppose is the future for Minnesota, and then the repercussions that it has nationally with regard to fraud?
Well, we've got two choices, whether we're going to be the United States of America or whether we're going to be the United States of Somalia. Because this isn't about ICE. This is about whether we have the right to send home foreigners who are in our country illegally. Yes. And ICE released the names of some of the people they've rounded up. Yeah. These are the biggest scum of the earth that you can imagine: sexual predators, child molesters, rapists, and murderers. And Democrats are fighting to keep these people in America. And then when they're here, we see that 81% of them are on welfare. Wow. So we have a choice. Are we going to have a country or are we not? That is what is at stake in Minnesota. That's what's at stake in the midterms, whether there's going to be an America or whether we will collapse as a nation.
Well, the Democrat Party has had no regard for the suffering of the American people, for the amount of crime that happened when Maduro released people from, wholesale released people from his prisons to come into the United States. We had military-age males by the millions from every hellhole in the world come into America for 4 years. Nobody has answered for that. Nobody has answered for that. And look at the damage it has caused. And the Democrat Party doesn't care. They don't care. They hate America as founded, and all they care is that they stay in power no matter how much the American people suffer. And I got to tell you, I've never seen anything like it, sir.
Well, I actually think they do care. I think they care about destroying America. We have to stop assuming that the enemy is just ignorant. They know what they're doing. Yep. They want to destroy the nation. And if you look at the statistics that come out, the reductions in crime, it's because Donald Trump has rounded up the bad guys and sending them home. The president released some results today about home prices. Guess where home prices have gone down the most? In the places where we have deported the most people. When you have 30 million people in your country that shouldn't be here, it makes home prices more, it makes education prices more, it makes healthcare prices more, it makes insurance prices more. These people make America more expensive, particularly when we have to pay a lot of taxes so we can just give it to them in fraud.
And it looks like
round these people up, we need to send them all home.
And it looks like the pretty much the amount of our federal deficit with regard to spending looks to be largely fraud. We're paying a whole hell of a lot of our tax dollars. Each one of us goes to support this fraud industrial complex, and it looks like it could be trillions of dollars. What are you hearing about this, about what is being exposed with Nick Shirley's video? I heard another video was coming out today that would make the first one dwarfed by comparison. I haven't heard anything about it, but clearly the Democrat Party and the deep state are the world's largest crime family, and it's being exposed, and hopefully, we're going to do something about it.
Well, look, I think it's bigger. The problem is worse than you make it out to be. It's not our tax dollars that are paying for this. It's money that we're borrowing from our kids and our grandkids to give this away. Now, there's a solution to this problem, and I have a bill that will solve it, which is we end eligibility for all federal welfare programs to all immigrants, not just illegals, but legals. If you want to come to America for freedom and opportunity, that's a discussion that we can have. But if you're coming for free stuff, stay home. And I think that will solve the problem. We can try to go after the fraud, or we can simply make them all ineligible and let them stay in the country they came from.
What do you want to do with the Somalians who pretended their children had autism or pretended they had an elderly relative that needed to be hauled here and there? I say that all of them who even signed a piece of paper regarding any of this need to be denaturalized and deported. And also, what do you think about the future of Ilhan Omar as a citizen and as a member of Congress?
Well, look, I think everyone who lied in order to get citizenship should be denaturalized and deported, whether it's you married your brother or you engaged in fraud from a welfare perspective. If you came to this country and we extended the greatest gift that can be given to someone, the ability to become an American, and they've laughed at us and they've spit in our face, we should denaturalize and deport them. It starts with her. Her behavior as an American, let alone a member of Congress, is revolting, and she should be sent back to the country she came from.
She's got a lot of audacity, doesn't she? She comes over, she comes from a spoiled, entitled background. Her father was like a warlord over there. She lived a privileged life. They escaped for their lives to come to America. As soon as she got here, she started hating on America. She's gone from a value of $1,000 in self-worth to $30 million with her husband, supposedly because he has a vineyard in California. Nobody's been to the vineyard in California. But I'm going to tell you right now, if you own a vineyard in California, you're not making $30 million. And there are a bunch of other... Go ahead.
Yeah. She's a crook. And she, like this entire group of people, have come here. They've fleeced our country. They've disrespected our country. And they laugh at us. And we need to remind them this is the United States of America, not the crap hole of Somalia.
Yes.
And if that's how they want to live, they should go back there.
I like to call Somalia the meth lab trailer park of the world, and it is. It's a hellhole, and it is very audacious of her. She, of course, is one of many who are actually fomenting sedition and insurrection in the state of Minnesota. We have members of Congress. We have members of government in Minnesota who are literally saying that we need to bring weapons now. There are several people who are saying bring weapons to confront ICE. We also know that these protests are not organic. They are being funded with not only tax dollars, but money from foreign entities, among others. Is something going to be done about finding the people who are buying these protests, these insurrections, and bringing them to justice and cutting off the funding altogether?
Well, we have to, because, again, this is an existential threat. They are fighting to keep foreign invaders in our country. This is not about going after Americans. This is about going after foreigners who have no right to be here. Now, what I want to do to solve this problem is to require protesters and influencers who are getting paid to disclose who pays them, just like political candidates have to.
Yes. I love it.
If you want to protest, that's fine. But the problem is people see 1,000 people on the street. They assume, wow, these people must be mad. But they see 1,000 people on the street who are getting paid. They go, they're just getting paid. Yeah. These people are taking advantage of our perspective to push this anti-American agenda on us. And if you're a protester getting paid, you should have to say who's paying you.
Yeah, and it's always the next thing. It was Elon Musk as a Nazi, and that went away once he left Doge. And then it moved on to No Kings, and then it moved on to Pete Hegseth as a war criminal. Then it moved on to, literally last week, went from free Maduro, Donald Trump is a criminal for getting Maduro, to ICE are murderers on Thursday. It is just gotten out of hand, Congressman. You know this as well as I do. If you could hold through the next break, I want to talk to you about what we do in Greenland. I want to talk about what we need to do in Iran as well. Can you do that?
Sure.
All right. Let's take a break and come back. More with Representative Randy Fine on the Rob Carson Show. Don't go anywhere.
PM.
You have Russian destroyers and submarines and China destroyers and submarines all over the place. We're not going to let that happen.
In the meantime, are you going
And if it affects NATO, then it affects NATO. But, you know, they need us much more than we need them, I will tell you that.
Yeah,
right
you know, Donald Trump does nothing indeliberately, I should say, if that's a word. He does things that are deliberate. He plays 3D chess with what's going on in the world, and the latest is, and of course the Democrats say nothing, but Donald Trump is a colonizer, and Donald Trump wants to overtake Greenland from peaceful Denmark and all that. No, Donald Trump is saying there are destroyers, there are submarines from China and Russia surrounding Greenland, and Denmark's doing nothing for Greenland. Greenland is strategic on the world map with regard to access to the poles and all of that. And Donald Trump is saying, hey, man, you know what? Let's just take it. And by the way, I believe it was a 1951 congressional act basically allow us to put any number of military bases on the island of Greenland. Joining us to talk about this and so many other things is Representative Randy Fine from Florida. What do you think about Greenland and Donald Trump and the world's reaction to it? Because Europe is saying this could destroy NATO, which I would have no problem with. What are your thoughts on Trump and Greenland?
Well, I just filed a bill that would have Congress tell the president he can do whatever he needs to do to get Greenland. Look, if you look at a map of the world from the pole down, you can see that that Greenland and Alaska are what sort of stand between the United States and Russia, and those trade routes and military routes, we need to make sure America is protected. The fact of the matter is, last time bad guys attacked Europe, Denmark gave up on Greenland, and America had to go bail it out in World War II.
Yeah.
We can't rely on a tiny little country to keep us safe. They can't even keep themselves safe. And so I think Greenland should be under the United States' rule, and we should make sure we use it to make sure China and Russia don't act in a negative way towards the entire world.
And this wouldn't mean that the people of Greenland would have no autonomy. It would mean that they actually have someone there to protect them, if anything. And
they could ultimately become a state. Look, poverty in Greenland is much, much higher than it is in Denmark. The suicide rate is an order of magnitude worse in Greenland than it is in Denmark. They don't get good services. They're not treated well. They don't have the ability to prosper. As part of the United States, the strongest nation in the world, the people of Greenland would benefit. The few people who actually live there, it would create the ability for that place to prosper and grow.
What you think? If we could just
win, it's a military
just to access to the enormous natural resources of Greenland that are not being tapped right now. Donald Trump knows how to build that. I mean, look at what happened in Venezuela under Maduro and Chavez. Before that, the country was impoverished while sitting on an ocean of oil and natural resources like gold, and none of that ever got to the people of Venezuela. I'm not saying that certainly Greenland is communist, but clearly Denmark wasn't doing anything for them. And you know what else I find kind of funny? Isn't Denmark populated by white colonialists who overtook Greenland 300 years ago? Shouldn't the left be hating on Denmark?
Look, the left will hate anything that Donald Trump does. The fact of the matter is, he is reasserting the Monroe Doctrine, which goes back to the founding of this country, that says we are responsible for what happens in the Western Hemisphere. And with the risks of China and Russia, allowing that part of our flank to be exposed is just silly. Denmark is a tiny little country that can't even take care of itself.
No.
They should focus on their tiny little country and leave protecting the world to us.
Absolutely, 100%. Finally, on Iran, the Ayatollah has been cracking down on these protests. I believe, and I said if Donald Trump became the president, that freedom and patriotism would spread around the world. I said that the people of Persia would be free. The Ayatollah and the leaders now want to meet with him after killing what could be 2,000 protesters, putting many in jail. I don't believe, there's no way the Ayatollah can stay in power. If they want to talk, I would suggest Donald Trump says, okay, but the Ayatollah goes bye-bye. What are your thoughts on this?
Look, Iran is the cause of so much trouble in the world. They're the leading state sponsor of Muslim terror. The country is run by Muslim terrorists. And now they're killing people. What I find most interesting is all the people who were screaming boo-hoo for Gaza. Where are they when hundreds, if not thousands, of Muslims are being gunned down in the streets of Iran? No one seems to care anymore. I mean, I want to make Persia great again, and I trust President Trump and Secretary Rubio to do what's necessary to make that happen.
Well, I think this would be a good start. I mean, this is a historic moment, first time in nearly 50 years that the people of Persia could be free. It has to happen. The Ayatollah cannot stay in power, especially when you've got people in New York having pro-Hamas protests and terrorizing Jews. And I got to tell you, Congressman, that crap's got to stop too.
Well, I understand. Look, I'm the first member of Congress in American history to wear a kippah. I'm one of 4 Jewish Republicans.
Yep.
This affects me personally, and
Yes,
what the
sir.
left and frankly some corners of our side have allowed is unacceptable. We
Yes,
have
sir.
to stand up to it and say it's wrong, and the president did that in the New York Times yesterday.
Good.
There's no room for anti-Semitism in the Republican Party.
And if the if Mondami doesn't want to play, I say no federal funds for you, because New York could become a very terrifying place if this is allowed to continue. It cannot take place. We cannot make New York into Berlin in 1939. Congressman, I appreciate you. I want you to know that I am a soldier for the people of Israel, and I appreciate you being on the show today.
Happy to come on anytime. Just let us know.
All right, let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. All right, what a day. My God, so busy. Oh, America Marcy says your fast is over. I knew one of you, were you getting a medical procedure last week? Is that what it was? Gladys Kravitz. Gladys Kravitz from Bewitched is on the YouTube chat today. That's pretty funny. Most people don't remember Gladys Kravitz. The original Karen, by the way. She was the original Karen. Over on the Rumbly Roo, we got a lot. Man, you guys are talking of a storm over here on the Rumbly Roo. Good to see you here. Just Me 123, good to see you. CCP and Russia trying to get their feet planted in Greenland. Denmark don't care about the Greenlanders, and now Denmark is complaining. Tom K said that. Yeah, you're right. And Denmark can suck it because they're just a stain, to be quite honest. Awesome. Good to see you there. Who else we got over here on the let's go to, I got YouTube. I got Facebook. I've been on Facebook. Hold on. I got to go to Facebook. Hope you're enjoying the show today. There's just a lot of stuff going on in the world, and I'm trying to stay on top of it. I'm still waiting to see what Nick Shirley has to say today. I heard a new video was coming out, and I'm sure the Democrats will deny it no matter how obvious it is, because they are intellectually and morally bankrupt. But it looks like that entire Renee Good narrative is collapsing very quickly. Very quickly. Vicky Stevens, hello. Robert Lawson, what's going on? Robin Olszewski, hello. Samira Rose, I think you're new. Welcome. Glad to have you here. Let's talk.
Breaking news, stimulating talk. Only on Talk Radio 680, WCBM, and 99.9 FM in Harford County.
Public Enemy. Fight the Power. 1989. It's kind of weird. I was looking at my Spotify for last year, and I listened to between 14 and 16,000 hours of music. And if you look at the genres, it's like rock, alternative, hip hop. It's kind of weird. I listen to a good share of hip hop. There's some good music out there. There's a lot of and Public Enemy was pretty revolutionary in some of the songs. A little wrong-minded in their politics at times, but pretty fascinating. So Donald Trump has freed Venezuela, at least gotten Maduro out of there. He was a wanted criminal, and Joe Biden didn't do anything about it, even though there was a bounty out for him while Joe Biden was the president. Okay, Joe Biden also promised he was going to cure cancer. You remember that? Yeah. I've had several friends die of cancer in the last 4 years. Why isn't Joe Biden being held accountable? Why isn't he being held accountable? He promised he was going to cure cancer. He says, we're going to cure cancer when I run for president. That's what he said. It didn't happen, did it? It didn't happen, did it? Yeah. Now Maduro's no longer on the front page because they moved on to ICE murdered a woman in Minneapolis. Well, guess what? That's dissipating. It was an attempt to cover the malfeasance and corruption of a governor and a Democrat party in Minnesota and fraud that is extended across the country. And Donald Trump says, next, You got Iran and Mexico going after the
President Trump
cartels.
is now threatening to take military action against drug cartels inside Mexico.
Jim Gossett.
South of the border, we may have to go.
Pew, pew, pew.
Cartels will root out, without a doubt, down in Mexico. When I make the order.
Oh, this will be fun.
Troops are on the way. South of the border, won't be there to play.
It's good to have Superman back.
Their president, she has done nothing to stop the flow of narcotics. You can bet that I'm gonna do something like putting boots down on the ground.
Now you won't need to do that.
South of the border, cartels run the show. Go into every town and take them down. Time for them to go. Their means of production will be taken away. South of the border, down Mexico way.
Yeah, Mexico's been a sucker fish on America for decades. And Donald Trump is the only president. Every president since George W. Bush has paid lip service to the war on drugs and have done nothing to stop it. Joe Biden actually accelerated it, allowing Venezuela to empty its prisons, bring in drug boats, flood our country with fentanyl. Hundreds of thousands of Americans died, and the blood is on his hands. Donald Trump is coming in and cutting off 96% of the drugs coming in by sea. Drug deaths, ODs, are dropping dramatically. The supply of fentanyl and other drugs is shriveling up. We've got a president who has cojones, for goodness sake. Coming up on the other side of the break, some unbelievably good news about the economy, particularly if you want to buy a house. And Blaine Holt, General Blaine Holt, joins us next hour to talk about Venezuela and more. Don't go anywhere.
No blind rhetoric.
No talking down to me.
Don't tell me how to think.
Don't tell me how to think. Don't tell me how to think.
I trust Newsmax. Newsmax.
They don't tell me how to think. They let me decide.
Real news for real people.
now.
You are about to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
This is the Rob Carson Show. Welcome to it. Glad to have you with us today as we broadcast on radio stations around the country, and also we stream on all Newsmax social media. I got some interesting news on the Newsmax stream last week. I didn't realize that our stream was as powerful as it is. Unlike Joe Biden in the middle of the night in the bathroom, our stream is powerful. It reaches millions. And the average, are you ready for this? Check it out. The average length of time that you watch me on the stream in the middle of the day, work day, the average time, you think 10 minutes? No. 20 minutes? No. Hour? No. Hour and a half? No. About an hour and 40 minutes. So what are you doing with the other hour and 20 minutes? Come on, people. You got to make it 3 full hours. I know that your time is precious. I really do. I get it. I got so much going on in my life, I don't have time to devote. Last night I was flipping through the channels, because I just took a little time to breathe last night before I dove back into show prep. Then I was looking at it, should I get HBO Max? What am I going to do with HBO Max? I don't have time to watch anything. I watched some football this weekend. I couldn't sit and watch football all day because I got a show to do. It's important to me. So I appreciate you guys. I appreciate any time you can give the show every day. And that so many of you would listen an hour and 40 minutes or watch an hour and 40 minutes every day is such a blessing. My God, you can't even begin to realize what you have done for me during a difficult time. And been through a lot here, but you guys have really made it worth it. You really have. And we offer something here that nobody else does. We offer leading edge opinion, and I know that we keep up and even surpass the biggest names in talk radio. We do. And like Rush, who I worked with for 20 years writing comedy for him, what he brought life experience. He brought common sense. And show prep. That's what I bring. I grew up in the farm in Iowa, and I've been through a lot of stuff, and it seasons you as a human being, and we've arrived at this point in history for a reason. We have, and we're about to see freedom spread around the world like we've never imagined. I mean, many of you weren't born when the Shah was deposed and Jimmy Carter ushered in the Ayatollah into Iran. And the women of Iran went from, free and able to work. It took them back 1,000 years, and they've been suffering ever since. And Iran has run roughshod over the world, caused the rise of a global caliphate, 50,000 plus terrorist attacks around the world, hundreds of thousands of people murdered because of those sons of bees. And honestly, the Ayatollah needs to be taken the hell out. If they're coming to the table to talk to Donald Trump, you take the B words out. We have an opportunity to witness history like we've never seen before. We are in the throes of a battle of good and evil, and the Democrat Party is siding with evil. The Democrat Party and the left are siding with evil. They're wrong about everything. They know the threat that Donald Trump poses to their criminal cabal. That's why they tried to take him off the ballot. That's why they went after him with the legal system, with 4 political indictments and bogus charges. That's why they raided Mar-a-Lago. That's why they impeached him twice. That's why they tried to kill him twice. And that's why they're trying to tear down every good thing he's doing, including arresting criminal Maduro, who has impoverished the Venezuelan people like you would not believe, tortured, starved the Venezuelan people. He is an animal. He is an animal. And Venezuela is now an outlier with regard to South America and Central America, because those countries are moving toward freedom. And other countries are moving towards freedom. Poland has moved toward freedom. Hungary has moved towards freedom. Italy has moved towards freedom. But you've got outliers, and we are in the throes of good versus evil. We are in the throes of good versus evil, and the Democrat Party is so broken They can't even dance with the people of Venezuela when a dictator is deposed. They cannot support a president who wants to deport illegals, criminal illegal aliens, many of them violent offenders, and these crazy Karens in cities around the country would rather fall in love with a death row inmate than support Donald Trump. It is utterly, utterly ridiculous. And they're going to get their rear ends kicked to the dirt, kicked to the curb, honestly. And Kristi Noem said, I'm going to send some more ICE officers into Minneapolis. We're going to put this thing down. We're going to end this nonsense. Going to end it. You know, they got to do a water cannon up there. You know, when it's like 30 below zero on a water cannon, you get hit by a water cannon in Minnesota, you just start to walk and all of a sudden, ching, you just freeze like in a cartoon, like, you're like there, and then just pick up your frozen, person here, in their clothes with their eyes still blinking like, I can't move, and then throw them in the back of a truck and haul them off to jail. The Minnesotans, they're getting so screwed with fraud by Tim Walz and others. They're saying that Tim Walz is going to resign this week, and I think he's going to go to jail, and he should go to jail. Keith Ellison should go to jail, among others. So there's so much happening and so good, and we're in the fits of good versus evil, and we're siding with good, and we've come together at this time in history to fight this battle. And we knew it wasn't over when Donald Trump got elected. And we're heading into 2026, 250th anniversary of America, the economy blowing up, just amazing things coming. And the Democrat Party sees their doom. They think, because it's the midterms, they're going to win the midterms. They are so broken, siding on the wrong side of everything, wanting to now defund ICE. They're willing to shut down the government to defund ICE. To defund ICE. Most Americans agree with ICE. Most Americans want these people deported the hell out of the country, particularly the Somali criminal crime syndicate. This is John Fetterman. He had a stroke a few years ago, and it reset his brain, like when your computer's acting up and you turn it on and you turn it off. And he started having common sense. And in the Democrat Party, that's pretty rare. Here he is talking about supporting military action in Iran to take down the Ayatollah.
Like that.
Sure, absolutely. And now if it continues to make more sense, absolutely. I think I was the only Democrat that fully supported our strike of their Iranian nuclear facilities last year.
Yeah, because, it would have been good for Donald Trump. So the Democrat Party would rather have Iran with nuclear weapons than Donald Trump getting credit for taking them out.
And now, by then, without those kinds of
Plus, they're also super anti-Semitic.
Strikes, Iran could have acquired a nuclear bomb. I hope we can all agree that Iran should have never acquired a nuclear...
No. The Democrats can't admit that because Donald Trump got rid of it, you see.
Bomb. And Iran is one of the world's top terrorist underwriter.
Yeah.
And now you have...
And if we could take the bastards out, we need to take them out!
That poisonous regime now in spiral. So why wouldn't we want to support that? And those...
Because Donald Trump's the president.
Those brave protesters, they've killed probably more than 600 by now. So now, why would we want to have the kinds of targeted kinds of action that could break?
Any country that would kill their people like this, they cannot remain in power. The people who did this cannot remain in power. This should be obvious to any decent human being. And if you can do it, if you can bomb the railroad tracks to Auschwitz, do it.
That regime.
There are sources do tell CNN that there are concerns inside the Trump administration, though, that taking military action, military strikes, could actually backfire and undermine the protests by...
Yeah, you know who's saying that? And since you won't cite Rand Paul, I will cite Rand Paul. Rand Paul, and my God, how much weed does he smoke? Honestly, what is up with his brain? Is he descending into insanity like his father? He says, oh yeah, well, if you bomb the Ayatollah, it might cause the Iranian people to rally around him. Sure. Rand Paul, my God in heaven. What is wrong with your friggin' head? What is wrong with your brain? When you got knocked off that lawnmower, did you hit your head on something? Did something happen there, Rand Paul? I mean, devoid of common sense whatsoever. He likes to act like he's all statesmanly because he's the one marching band member that's marching the opposite direction as the marching band goes over here. And he thinks that makes him some sort of a statesman, some sort of a sage. No, it makes him look like a lunatic. It makes him look like a bloody lunatic. Here's John Fetterman talking about the awful Democrat Party. Listen to what because he's speaking common sense, and he's the only Democrat speaking common sense. I know I'm as surprised as you are. I'm surprised as you are. He was bat guano crazy left, and a lot of his views are very bat guano crazy left. But listen to what he is having to confront from his former voters, from his former supporters, and members of his party.
The right would say really rough things and names. Some names I won't repeat on TV. But the on the left, it was like they want me to die, or that we're cheering for your next stroke, or that's terrible that depression won. Why couldn't it depression won?
Okay, people who think like that. They've sided with evil. I want you to think about where we were even 20 years ago. When you look at these people screaming, you mother bleeper, and you and this and that, and just shrill things. I hope you die at ICE agents. You're sleeping with Satan, baby. You're giving Satan a kiss goodbye in the morning and going to work. There's something profoundly broken about you. There's something profoundly broken about you. And if you can't have a come to Jesus, or you can't come around and do some spiritual smelling salts to wake you from this mania, then we're just going to have to run you over, and you can just fade into history, because we are a civil society, and we're not going to take this nonsense anymore. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Ask yourself this question.
So, the journalist Dustin, I believe it's Grahi is how he pronounces it. It's spelled Grage. Says that Representative Ben Davis of Minnesota tells Dustin, I should say, that articles of impeachment for Tim Walz have been drafted. So, there's rumors that he's going to resign. He should resign. I predicted he was going to resign. There's no reason he should stay in office. It's obvious. You cannot, honestly, it's so just utterly ridiculous to think that you in office could allow, even just looking at on paper, 1 year, $4 million is being spent on kids with autism. 3 years later, it's $400 million. All of these meals, $250 million feeding our future, and 900,000 meals coming out of one little restaurant that, can seat 10 people. And then, all of these daycare centers where no children were being served. Honestly, I hope hell is coming to the people of Minnesota who perpetrated this nonsense on the people of Minnesota. And then it's coming to California, too. Gavin Newsom's freaking. He'll never be the president. Dear God. He will never be the president. Ever, ever, ever. That's all there is to it. I know it because, he's so damned corrupt. So there's that. You know what? I think we need some good news.
We love to win. Winning, so much winning. It's lots of winning.
Lots of winning.
It's oh so good.
So this is David Sachs. He is, I enjoy this guy. He's, I guess, kind of an expert in economics, talking about the economic boom. And I told you, there's going to be an economic boom like we've never seen before. We had 4.6% GDP third quarter last year, waiting on numbers for fourth quarter. It's going to be 6%. No, yeah, what do you know, Rob? What do you know, Rob? Well, all the economists are generally wrong, and I'm generally right. And generally, when it's good news, they always underestimate the good news. And Donald Trump is doing everything that business needs to thrive, cutting regulation, cutting taxes, allowing massive write-offs of material investment in your company, 100% write-off. I can go on and on. Price of gas in Kansas City, $1.90. $1.90. When Joe Biden was president, I remember $95 to fill my truck in Joe Biden's presidency. Right now, it would cost less than $36 to fill my truck. But here is David Sachs on what's coming up.
I'm going to say that the Trump boom is going to be the biggest political winner of 2026.
Yep.
The good economic news has started breaking out before 2025 was even over. We have 2.7% inflation. Core CPI at 2.6. Both those are 40 basis points below expectations.
Yep.
4.3% GDP growth in Q3.
Yeah.
Lowest trade deficit since 2009.
Yeah.
The Challenger Gray report out today showed that job cuts dropped 50% from November, which was itself down about...
Unless you're a government worker.
50% from October.
Give us a number for the boom. What is it going to be?
Hold on. The S&P 500 keeps making record highs.
Yeah.
People are paying less for gas.
Stock market about 50,000. Dow Jones.
Interest costs have fallen by $3,000. Real wages are up over $1,000.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
By June, I predict we will see more rate cuts.
Oh, yes.
Possibly 75 to 100 basis points.
Yeah.
And big tax refunds are coming in April, thanks to a bigger standard deduction and no tax on tips over time and Social Security. So,
in other words, things that no politician has ever brought to the table that will cause our economy to go into light speed. It just is common sense. And if you don't think that this is going to happen, it's because you have your I hate Donald Trump glasses on and you're a fool. It should be obvious. He's taking what Reagan did and just multiplying it by 1,000. A powerful force has been holding back the market. It's finally easing. The housing market recently crossed a noteworthy line. There are now more Americans with mortgage rates higher than 6% than below 3%. Mortgage rates have more than doubled since 2021. Thank you, Joe Biden. When a 30-year loan could be had for less than 3%. My house in Kansas City, less than 3%, 2.9%. Federal Reserve data, and they have remained above 6% for more than three years. Homeowners with low rates stayed put, and the ensuing drop in home listings gave rise to an inventory crunch and surging property prices, a dynamic known as the mortgage lock-in effect. I'm living this. I told my ex, I said, we're not selling that house. We're not selling that house until Jerome Powell is out at the Fed. She's like, I don't know what that means. You just got to pay attention to politics and know that Jerome Powell has been playing with interest rates to benefit Democrats and hinder Donald Trump's economy. It doesn't take any modicum of common sense to understand that. 54% of U.S. adults said there was no mortgage rate at which they would feel comfortable selling their home, up 12 percentage points for 2024. Those are the people who have 3%. And I'm not doing it because 3%, because I'm not planning on buying anytime soon. But I am planning on selling anytime soon. And when that rate comes down, when Jerome Powell leaves the Fed, I'm going to give it about a month. And it's going to come down. It's going to come down and down and down. Right now, they're talking 5.5. It's going to be lower than that. And when it is, people who have 6% mortgages are going to get out of their houses and they're going to buy a 4% house. And my home price is going to be rock solid, maybe even go up, might even have a bidding war. That's what's happening. And again, I don't have, I'm not an economist. I just have life experience and common sense. And I'm generally right about stuff. In fact, pretty much all the time. Oh, and then there's affordability. Where's affordability these days? I don't hear anything about affordability. Democrats are not saying affordability anymore. You know why? Because they cause things to be unaffordable.
But the affordability issue is from the 22% increase in prices and inflation under Biden.
Yeah.
There's just full stop right there. That's
everybody knows it because we suffered through it unless you're an elite East Coaster.
Affordability issue. And you ought to be able to explain that better.
Right. That's right. And look, I think that with the economic team, President Trump and the economic team led by Scott Bessent, you have people who very much understand this.
Yep.
And it was they were thrown, what I would say, the worst economy
they were.
For the average American.
It was terrible.
In my adult lifetime.
Yeah.
In terms of like you said, the incredible increase in prices at the household.
Yeah. Also, Donald Trump is saying that he wants to require credit card companies for a 1-year cap at 10% on interest rates. And they have become confiscatory. And anybody who's been in the death spiral of credit card debt, when you can't afford the rent or you can't afford groceries like it was with Joe Biden as the president, and then you put things on credit cards, and then you still can't afford your mortgage, so you're still putting stuff on credit cards, and you're paying 30%. And 20%, Donald Trump's going to put a cap on that and give people a break. That's affordability. Coming up, retired General Blaine Holt joins us to talk about Iran and Venezuela and more. Don't go anywhere. Hey guys, it's Carson for Relief Factor. I saw an ad for Relief Factor a while back, and I saw a guy literally in tears with how he talked about the pain that he was experiencing was gone. It happened to me too. I started it taking a few months ago. My hip was really bothering me, and I wondered, because I'm the age of, replacement of joints and whatnot, if it could be better. And I started taking Relief Factor, and it healed. It's a 100% drug-free, research-based formula created to help your body's natural inflammatory response, the same one that cause everyday aches and pains from aging, exercise, overexertion, and just normal living. It helped me with my hip, my neck, my shoulders, all the places that remind you you're not 25 anymore. Relief Factor supports a healthy response to inflammation, helping you stay active and keep those joints and muscles feeling good. It's made with 4 key ingredients: omega-3 fatty acids, resveratrol, curcumin, and icariin, each one helping from a different angle. You can start with the 3-week quick start for just $19.95. That's less than a cup of coffee a day. So if you're tired of creaking like an old floorboard every time you move, give Relief Factor a try. Go to ReliefFactor.com. That's ReliefFactor.com and feel the difference. Relief Factor, because getting out of bed shouldn't count as a workout.
To the town of Portland I said in the guard, Antifa, they are gonna get you hard. To Democrat mayors getting in my way, go ahead punks and make my day. F around and find out, F around and find out. Schumer's gonna find out, I mean business and I'll get my way. Pencil neck and Chris Ray, for your crimes you will pay. You have both been found out. Hope you get a lengthy prison stay. Listen up, Hamas, I am warning you. Break the ceasefire and you'll be through. Democrats, hang your head in shame. For the shutdown, you're gonna get the blame. F around and find out. Mess around and find out. F around and find out. In the end, I'm gonna win the day. Find out.
Hey guys, it's Carson for Quince.com. Colder days mean layers, and your winter wardrobe may have you considering a winter reset. I went to a jazz club the other night wearing a Quince tee, another shirt over it, and a Quince wool jacket. A woman said, "You look fine." I mean, it blew me away. I've spent every dime for my kids and my wife for 25 years. Now I feel confident and I look good with Quince. I couldn't believe it. Quince has everything you need. Men's Mongolian cashmere sweaters, wool coats, leather, and suede outerwear. Each piece made with premium materials by trusted factories that meet rigorous standards. No middlemen means no traditional markups. The wool coat I wore to the jazz club the other night turned heads, cost less than I paid elsewhere. You can also find anything for your home, including kitchen, bath, and even for travel. Refresh your wardrobe at Quince. Go to quince.com/Newsmax. That's QUINCE.com/Newsmax for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/Newsmax. That's quince.com/Newsmax.
Street protesters, we've had our fill, but Randy Fine has a bill, says move them on over, run them all over, run over protesters blocking all our roads. The Thump Thump bill is what it's called. I'm sure the left will be appalled, but move them on over. Run them all over. Step on the gas if they won't step aside. Sure, it might leave a dent, but make them a hood ornament. Run them all over. Thump them all over. If they block our streets, they'll get what they deserve.
The War Powers Act was passed in 1973 by a bunch of liberal Democrats. It's a power grab by the Congress against the Commander-in-Chief. Every president since 1973 has rejected the idea that Congress can substitute our judgment for theirs. So what these five are good friends. They're creating a situation where you have 535 commander-in-chiefs, not one. There's never been a court case in the history of the country where a military operation was terminated by the Supreme Court because Congress didn't approve. There have been 130 military operations by the commander-in-chief without.
Yeah, that is Lindsey Graham talking about Donald Trump taking action not only in Venezuela but Iran. The Ayatollah has to be deposed. You can't kill 1,000, maybe 2,000 of your citizens and then expect to be remain in power. Donald Trump has said that if you start killing your citizens, we won't take you out. Right now, Donald Trump, no matter what Donald Trump does, if Donald Trump were bombing the train tracks to Auschwitz, the Democrat Party would say it's a bad thing because our Congress is hostile. Our Congress is hostile to our president, regardless of who it frees, regardless of how much better it makes the world. They would rather have people continue living in bondage and death than Donald Trump, than something good happening on Donald Trump. Joining us to talk about all of this is Blaine Holt, Brigadier General, retired from the U.S. Air Force. He commanded a C-17, kicks some major butt, has a wonderful podcast called Dangerous Intellectuals, and he joins us on the Newsmax Hotline right now. General, how are you?
I'm doing great. I can't believe you found a soundbite where I agree with actually Senator Lindsey Graham. That's amazing.
I know.
Compliments.
Well, at least he's a truth teller on Iran. Yeah. He's saying that you got to kill the B word with regard to the Ayatollah. I mean, Blaine, you and I were kids when the Jimmy Carter, feckless Jimmy Carter, allowed the Ayatollah to come in, and we've experienced nearly 50 years of terror with the heart of radical Islam being Iran, and now there's an opportunity for it to fall. Rather than sending pallets of cash like Barack Obama, Donald Trump can give them a little, and it didn't going to take much. I don't think it's going to take much. What are your thoughts on what Donald Trump needs to do?
Well, right now he's engaging in significant psychological operations, and I think that he's doing a very good job with that. And, while we're whacking ISIS guys left and right in the region, it's not lost on the Ayatollah how that could turn against him really quickly. The other part that I would say is I think the president is going to take as light a touch as possible on this because Ambassador Huckabee even said today, we're not seeking to do regime change or upend things. That's for the Iranian people to decide. And this is why that's so important. The Iranian people need our moral encouragement. We need to encourage them every day, but they're doing it. The other thing is I get it. There's a Shah, Pahlavi. Everybody thinks that he's the rightful king and we should install him. Well, if he's the rightful king, then let the Iranians decide that. We have a miserable track record on this one. So let's self-determination happen, and then let's put our arms around Iran and bring them back into the international community.
What can we do to prevent the murder of the Iranian citizens? Now, Donald Trump says that if that starts happening, we're going to give you a little nudge. Do you suppose he's willing to give them a little nudge?
I absolutely suppose he is. What I would say is let's trust the president interpreting his intelligence and not putting all of our eggs into the Associated Press basket. There are a lot of agendas in the media right now, and I'm not saying that this regime is good or hasn't killed anybody. What I am saying is it's critical that the president evaluates the naked intelligence that he gets, and then we can trust that he'll make the appropriate action. No one should think he would shirk away from action after watching what happened in Venezuela.
Well, he is playing 3D chess, and I would say that his actions, everybody was talking about Donald Trump, he's kind of crazy, he's kind of this, but I don't believe I've seen, even maybe regarding Reagan, as deliberate and thoughtful with regard to not getting America into an extended conflict or a war, and also, sticking by the rules that govern what he can and cannot do.
I think I've got proof for you.
What?
And I love President Reagan. I revere President Reagan. But his neocons got him sucked into a thing called Iran-Contra. And our president, President Trump, is not doing that. President Trump listens to his advisors and then follows his vision and intent. Where I would be watchful is watch all those armored personnel carriers on their way to the Mexican border.
Yes.
That's where you probably ought to be fixed.
Now, I saw that the Mexican government was amassing troops on the border, which is, really? Okay, sure. What do you suppose is going to happen there? Blaine, come on.
What would happen? What would happen if those Mexican troops suddenly, all of a sudden, just started working with U.S. forces on the border, and the guys caught in the middle were the cartel guys?
Wouldn't that be nice?
So I guess what I'm saying is there's so much going on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Don't leap at the first worm on a hook you see. There's a lot going on.
That's
there.
interesting because the media is covering it like Mexico is going to defend itself by they're sending troops to the border.
Yes, I know, and we've got German Navy ships filled with troops on the way to Greenland to go to war with the United States.
Yeah, that's going to happen. Sure, okay. What are your thoughts on Greenland? Right now, Donald Trump says that there are destroyers, there are submarines from China and Russia that regularly patrol that area. The Denmark has done nothing for the people of Greenland, and Greenland obviously is strategically a very valuable location with regard to access to shipping lanes and whatnot, and then also, of course, natural resources galore that remain untapped. What do we need to do about Greenland?
Well, we're going to need to control Greenland, and I say control.
Yeah.
We don't have to own it. It doesn't have to be the 51st state, but wartime technology with hypersonics is such that we cannot allow our warning times for nuclear weapons via hypersonics be put into the hands of the Danish. It's too much leverage. It's too risky. And actually, as it turns out, field studies will tell you that the Danish care less about United States security than the United States. And so what we'll do is we'll take whatever path is necessary to control that landmass, because our security needs in this new technology environment are vital. Just go look at the Oreshnik missiles raining down on Ukraine and ask yourself if that's the type of response time that you think President Trump needs to defend us.
Well, you look at what happened with that tanker that Donald Trump and the military captured off the in the Atlantic, and of course Russia saber rattle for about 5 seconds. So I don't think either Russia or China really want to bleep with us right now. And if I'm not mistaken, isn't there some sort of a treaty from like 1951 that allows us to basically be able to put a base anywhere on Greenland without any approval?
There absolutely is. We have a few there. Thule, Greenland, one of my favorite spots, not exactly at the top of the world. I've flown in there many times.
Really?
Negative 8,000 degrees, I'm pretty sure that's
wow.
what it was. It's a very important piece of land right now, and that our NATO allies, and look, President Trump, he made a chess move. He's getting 8 benefits off of it. What are the Europeans spending money on? Greenland defense. Yeah. What are they not spending money on? Ukraine. Where are they focused? Greenland. Where are they not focused? Ukraine. It's beautiful.
All right, let's take a break and come back. I want to talk about Venezuela. What's next for Venezuela? What has to happen with regard to Venezuela? If you can hold on, that would be great, sir. I appreciate you.
Absolutely.
All right, let's take a break and come back. More with General Blaine Holt on the Rob Carson Show. Don't go anywhere. More with Brigadier General Blaine Holt in just a moment. If you would have purchased gold in late 2024 You could have got it for about $2,600 an ounce or so. Now it's $2,000 an ounce more. So a year and 3 months later, it's $2,000 an ounce more. It's amazing. Since Friday, it went up from $4,506 to $4,624. Silver used to get $20 an ounce. $86 almost today. $86 for silver today. It is a remarkable time for precious metals. Used to be considered the Snuggie of investments. Now people are taking it very seriously. You know, maybe you don't have Nancy Pelosi's portfolio, but gold is pretty darn good. If you've never considered owning gold, first-time gold buyers, Birch Gold is offering a rebate up to $10,000 on qualifying purchases. So to claim your eligibility and start the process, you know the drill. Just text my name, Rob, to 989898. Rob to 989898. Birch Gold can help you roll an existing IRA or 401k that's just lying there, like Joe Biden on the beach, into an IRA in gold, and you're still eligible for a rebate up to $10,000, but you got to do that by January the 30th. It's already the 12th, by the way. It's already the 12th, for crying out loud. Spring is coming, people. Text my name, Rob, 989898. Claim your eligibility again. Rob to 989898 for Birch Gold.
If any military member, including the generals on down to enlisted members, if any of them participate in the use of military force against Greenland without congressional authorization, they are following illegal orders. That's simply a fact.
Wow, that is Senator Ted Lieu. Once again, saying things that border on sedition. Your thoughts on his thoughts and his warning shot over the bow of military members if Donald Trump decides to take some sort of action in Greenland?
Few communists have that man's command of geopolitics and profession of arms, strategy, economics. I think when Ted Lieu talks, we should all laugh our butts off.
We all get dumber. We all get a little bit dumber. Remarkable stuff. I want to mention, you said you flew it. Where did you used to fly your C-17 into Greenland?
I used to fly our older jet than that, the first generation, the 141, C-141. We called it the Tube of Pain, but I loved it. and we would fly out of McGuire, New Jersey on missions to resupply Thule, Greenland, which was nicknamed the top of the world because it truly was the top of the world. And how through the card to go in there in the winter, boy, you were in for something.
I tell you what, if you're got like 30, 40, 50 below zero, is lift a real problem then?
It can be. The other part is flying that far north, you can't use latitude, longitude, or GPS anymore. Whoa. You have to use what we call magnetic grid. It's actually very challenging flying. It's beautiful. Wow. It's absolutely gorgeous. But it's a real challenge. And then, if you have to stay the night, those temperatures get down so low that you got to pull the batteries out of the airplane and bring them to your hotel room.
Yeah, I used to.
And those are very heavy.
I know. I used to live in Minnesota. They got people put oil pan heaters on their cars, so when they go into work, they plug their car in to keep the oil from becoming Jello. It's unbelievable.
Oh, my God.
It's really bad. It's really bad. So I want to talk a little bit about Venezuela. Maduro is gone. The Democrat Party, of course, couldn't see any good in removing Maduro, even though Joe Biden increased the bounty on his head from $10 to $25 million. He just didn't know how to do it. He didn't know what to do. And Donald Trump did it, and, of course, Democrats are all upset about it. Donald Trump is not doing regime change. Put the vice president in charge there. We've got oil companies coming in. They're going to reclaim their investment that was stolen by Maduro and Chavez. What's next for Venezuela? What has to happen to the governance of Venezuela?
Well, I think eventually you're going to see she's playing ball with us, by the way, and that's really wonderful. She's going to help us usher in for the Venezuelans self-determination, self-governance. There's no writ that Machado, just because she won a Nobel Peace Prize and as a globalist, has to go in there. We're going to let them govern themselves, but we are going to expect in return their friendship and co-investment with each other. It's not just a one-way robbery deal or colonialization. It's actually cooperation, and it stabilizes the entire continent.
I wish that, and maybe this is wishful thinking, simplistic thinking, but considering the long suffering of the Venezuelan people, years ago when Barack Obama was the president, the favorite restaurant in Caracas was the zoo. And I'm not kidding either. They hunted all the animals in the zoo and ate them. That's how bad it was. But yeah, I would love to see some sort of an oil dividend go to the people of Venezuela, $1,000. You'd have to be able to assure by having a government that is not as so corrupt that they would take it, but figure out a way you could give the people of Venezuela some sort of an oil dividend so they can bring their standard up because they've lived in such poverty for so very long. I think that would be. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking too simple here. What do you think?
I think it's a great idea because what you're doing is you're putting everybody's skin in the game.
Yes,
they're all going to want their country to thrive and prosper because they've got a piece of it, and that's exactly where you want it to be.
I'm optimistic, and you're a cold warrior among others. But I'm optimistic that a wave of patriotism and freedom is sweeping the globe. We still have the fits and throes of evil trying to get in the way, but I'm optimistic about freedom spreading around the world. How about you, brother?
I couldn't be more optimistic. Good. It's a dangerous time, but it's an exciting time.
I know, bro.
Really, the smoke is clearing, and we now see who the true battle spaces are. It's we the people global edition versus they the globalists, and they're going to meet next week for their stupid confab in Davos. And you know what? Right now they're running recruitment ads around social media for people to join the World Economic Forum because nobody wants to be with the slithery ones anymore who just want to depopulate and make you eat crickets.
Well, brother, if the people of Persia are free, and I'm hoping that will be happening in the very near future, we'll have to get together and have a cigar.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to that day.
All right, brother. Blaine Holt, where can people find you on social media and your Dangerous Intellectuals podcast?
Please come to dangerousintellectuals.com, and today's interview is with Navy SEAL and leader expert Mike Sorelli. He's got good tips for everybody on how to lead in chaos.
It is really, you've got a great sounding podcast, bro. It really is. It's great stuff. You're hitting the mark, man. I appreciate you, Blaine Holt. Have a glorious week. Let's pray for peace, and let's pray for freedom, shall we?
Amen.
All right.
Amen.
Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. Hey guys, it's Carson from Birch Gold. A new year means new financial goals, like making sure your streamers be the year that you find. I just got out of an interview with Blaine Holt, and my brain is still going there. Hello, everybody. How are you? So, I cheated a lot over the break with food, and I'm back on it, and I'm going to make some major changes. Been paying a lot of attention to what Robert Kennedy Jr. is talking about, and maybe we could do this together. I'm doing like this weekend after my orgy of food on Saturday, doing lean and green, doing like salmon, and last night I made air fryer green beans with olive oil and garlic powder, sea salt, pepper. Did that, lean and green every night. Getting rid of a lot of the carbs. I love making some carbs, don't get me wrong. I'm not getting rid of it altogether. Getting rid of a lot of the carbs and keeping it kind of lean and green with light carbs. How about that? Does it sound good? I think it sounds good. I've been promising myself forever, I want to look halfway decent when I take my shirt off at the pool. And I realize I'm, older, whatever, but I look pretty good. I work out. I look pretty good. So let's move on here. Let's move to Donna Lambert. Hello. Yes to common sense. Good to see you there. I think Blaine Holt's so good. Isn't he just good? Isn't he good? It is dangerous and exciting times, but we can never relent. We must continue to fight. Man, you guys, Timothy McNulty, you guys are totally busy over there on the YouTube. It's Delta Force from Maduro Guard say that he'll never go against U.S. military again. Oh, I got to talk.
About 3:15.
So I didn't really watch the Golden Globes, but I do love me some Nikki Glaser.
And the award for most editing goes to CBS News.
Yes. CBS News, America's newest place to see BS News.
Oh, yeah. She's really funny. She did that Tom Brady roast, and she just owned it. She owned it. She owned it. I just think she is brilliant, hot. I could say it. It's okay. I'm comfortable in my masculinity, and you better be as well, because you know what? I think she's hot. You know why? Because she's hot.
You've worked with every great director. You've won 3 Golden Globes, an Oscar. And the most impressive thing is that
Leo DiCaprio.
You were able to accomplish all of that before your girlfriend turned 30. I mean, it's just insane. Leo, I'm sorry I made that joke. It's cheap. You know what? I tried not to, but like, we don't know anything else about you, man. Like, there's nothing else. Like, open up.
Yeah, then she talked about Timothée Chalamet, who won the Best Oscar last night for the Ping Pong movie.
This is interesting. Not a lot of people know this, but Timothée Chalamet is the first actor in history to have to put on muscle for a movie about ping pong. This is true.
She just, I love her. I gotta, as much as, you can't talk about liberals and all. Well, bullcrap. If she's funny, she's funny. And she is funny, and she is not politically correct. I think we need some comedy from Jim Gossett about Greenland and Donald Trump.
Greenland is a land.
Get it.
That should be our land.
We want it.
That's what I have planned.
Price of ice is going to go down.
Plan for Greenland. It is strategic. It's rich in minerals.
I know, it's kind of cool.
Greenland was made for you and me.
And the Dutch are...
I'd like to own
Denmarkians.
But Denmark's wearing.
They aren't doing anything with it.
I have to use the military security. It would provide it.
Kicking butt.
Greenland was made for you and me.
Ding.
Once we own it, we could rename it. Could call it Trump Land or even Don Land.
Orange Land.
It's gonna happen. It will be ours soon. Greenland was made for you and me.
Greenland made for you and me.
Greenland was made for you and me.
There you go. That is Jim Gossett. You can help him out by going to patreon.com, Jim Gossett Comedy, patreon.com, Jim Gossett Comedy. Thanks for listening today. Thanks for watching today. It means so much to me, and the audience is growing so much. You have no idea how many people are streaming and listening to the show. It has just gone through this feeling since I moved to Washington, D.C. We're here together. We are here together. Great things are coming for America and the world. Let's get out of here. God bless you, America's founder, Donald Trump, as he makes America great again. And until tomorrow, do not catch the stupid. I'll see you then.
Yeah, Rob, we're done. 3 hours. That's it.
I know. I'm out of here. Bye.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.